Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We will talk about Quran today, inshallah. First, why Quran is a source of legislations in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. And whoever doesn't judge or rule with what Allah has revealed, those are the disbelievers. This ayah is more comprehensive, general, rather than أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول, obey Allah and obey the Prophet. That is obeying Allah and the Prophet in the orders. But this ayah here is, first, it says whoever doesn't judge with what Allah has revealed, these are disbelievers. Judging, the word حكم here, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ, and this is exactly what the ayah says. It's not like the way some people translate it. They translate it this way, and whoever rule with other than what Allah has revealed. And this is not what Allah says. Allah said, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ, and whoever doesn't rule with what Allah has revealed. This is more than the way some people apply it to the leaders or to the judges. This is for everybody. You have to rule, to become a Muslim, you have to rule with what Allah has revealed. That means that you accept everything that Allah has said. First, the word حكم in Arabic, which is used in this ayah, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ, the word حكم in Arabic means this: attributing something to something. Attributing something to something. إثبات شيء لشيء. To say this wall is white, that is a حكم. You have made a judgment. To say this book is good, you made a judgment. To say this person is white or black, you have made a judgment. That judgment can be true, can be wrong. Wherever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spoken about something, wherever Allah has said something in the Quran, He has made a decision. If Allah says we have sent Nuh, if you say Allah never sent Nuh, you have not ruled with what Allah has revealed. If Allah says about something that is right, and you say that thing is wrong, knowingly. If Allah says something is bad, and you say it isn't. If Allah says this is obligation, and you say it isn't, then you have not ruled with what Allah has revealed. Ruling or judging with what Allah has revealed means to follow the Quran, accept it, and every time you make a judgment, you have to go back to the Quran. Of course, this is in matters of religion. Anything that Allah has spoken about, becomes matter of religion. To decide whether your food is sweet or it's not sweet, this is matter of dunya. If Allah didn't speak about something, that is matter of dunya. It's not matter of religion. But the Prophet, of course, we say always, the Prophet didn't teach us the religion, the dunya. He taught us the religion. So it is for a Muslim to become a believer, he must judge with what Allah has revealed. Meaning, if he has to make decision, marriage, which marriage is valid, he must go to the Quran. If he must decide which food is halal, which food is haram, forbidden, or which food is prohibited, which food is allowed to eat, he must go to the Quran. The fact that he says this is halal, because everything is that Allah has not forbidden is halal, he is referring to Quran. If he says this person staying with this man, living with this woman, without getting married, he is judging with what Allah has revealed. I mean, marriage, what is the difference between someone married and someone who is not married? A partner. They are doing the same thing. They have children, they live in the same place, they spend on each other, they look after each other. But this person has taken this woman according to the book of Allah. He went to the wali and asked for her. He paid dowry, he had witnesses. The other person didn't do this. He didn't judge with what Allah has revealed. So, of course, when we say judging with what Allah has revealed is accepting His hukm, accepting what Allah has said is right, saying to what Allah has said halal, halal, saying to what Allah has said haram, haram, saying to what Allah has said obligation, obligation. Now, whether to apply it or not, we have so many proofs. Now, when you don't apply it, that is not kufr. Accepting it or not accepting it, that is Islam and kufr. Apply it or not, that is fusuq, disobedience. But if a person accepts the ahkam of Allah, he is a Muslim, even though he doesn't apply them. Now, when we see the difference, what is the difference between Allah ordered Iblis to do something and He ordered Adam to do something? He ordered Iblis to prostrate, and He ordered Adam to not. He forbade Adam not to eat from the tree. So He ordered him not to eat from the tree. Adam didn't do what Allah ordered him. And Allah declared in the Quran that Adam had disobeyed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَعَصَى آدَمُ رَبَّهُ فَغَوَى. Adam disobeyed his Lord. Iblis disobeyed his Lord because Allah told him to prostrate, but he refused. What is the difference between Adam then and Iblis? Adam ate from the tree believing that what he is doing is wrong. So he accepted the hukm of Allah, that this tree shouldn't be ate from. But he didn't apply it. He did the opposite of what Allah ordered. Iblis, in the other hand, rejected the hukm of Allah. He didn't prostrate, and he rejected the order altogether. He rejected the order of Allah. He said, no, I shouldn't. It's wrong to prostrate to Adam. Who is he? So he rejected the hukm of Allah. That's what made Iblis a kafir. To reject anything from the Quran, to come to the Quran, read the Quran, understand the Quran and say, no, I don't agree with this about anything in the Quran. That is kufr. Getting out of Islam. I mean, if a person say a woman should wear a khimar and a jilbab because it is in the Quran, but he doesn't apply it in his family, or the woman accept it but she doesn't do it, she is Muslim who is disobeying Allah. Someone reads Quran and say the adulterer or fornicator should be lashed 100, but he never does it, just because the person who has committed fornication is his family or relative, then he is Muslim. He accepts the hukm that this is what should happen to him, but he never done it. That is like Adam accepting that eating from the tree is wrong, but eating from it. The one who says, no, this is inhuman, this should never happen, that person is the person who is saying to, who is this for me to prostrate for him? I am better than him. This person is just like Iblis. So accepting the ahkam of Allah is the Islam. Rejecting them is the kufr. Applying them is iman. Rejecting them and not applying them without rejecting them, this is fusuq. Of course, when a woman who has nothing to stop her from wearing hijab but she prefers not to, or a man who knows that he should pray the 5 prayers but he is lazy to do so. A person who accepts that he has to fast Ramadan but he just say he doesn't bother to do it, this is a person who is Muslim because he is judging according to what Allah has revealed. And on the other hand, the person who rejects this ahkam just based on what the medical science say or the facts say. Someone says the human being is created from I don't know, evolution, because he read the theory of Darwin and he rejects for that the book of Allah. He say this person is of course a kafir. So it is essential for the person to be a Muslim, and we are talking to Muslims, that in order to become a Muslim, it's essential that to accept everything that Allah has revealed. One of the things that Allah has revealed to us is the Quran. Second is the Sunnah. The second thing here we talk about when you talk about Quran is for everybody. It's not only for the Prophet, it's not only for the Sahaba who heard the Quran directly from the Prophet. It is for everybody, the whole religion, Quran and Sunnah. As for the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم لأنذرك وأوحي إلي هذا القرآن لأنذركم به ومن بلغ. This Quran has been revealed to me, so I warn you with it and whomever it reaches. So whoever Quran reaches him, he is warned. It's warning for him. He should accept it and apply it. And the Prophet also said, لِيُبَلِّغِ الشَّاهِدُ الْغَائِبَ. The one who are present should convey the message for those who are not. So this is to show that the Quran and Sunnah, these shows that the Quran and Sunnah is for forever, for whomever was at the time of the Prophet and whoever comes later. This Quran and the Prophet saying is a warning for them. They should take them, accept them and apply them. So if we have established that Quran is a source of legislation, is for us as well. Now let's define what is Quran, to see if the Quran, by defining the Quran, you will find in the book of Usul this, you will say things like, we need to define Quran so we can know what we read in the prayer, what not to read. The Quran says فَقْرَأُوا مَا تَيَسَّرَ مِنْهِ. The Quran says that read what is available from it. So read what is handy from the Quran. Thing that you memorize, read Quran in the prayer. So we have to know what is the Quran, because the revelation is not one type. The revelation is Quran and the saying of the Prophet. Not everything that the Prophet have told us is Quran. So defining the Quran will make us know what we are able to read and what we can't read in the prayer. Defining the Quran also, people say we will know from where to take legislation or not, because we have to take legislation from Quran and Sunnah. Now, what is Quran? What is the definition of Quran? It's always anything that you have to study, you have to know. Definitions are very important. So defining the Quran so we can see the difference between what is Quran and what is not, where to take the hukum from, where not to take from. Also people say defining the Quran is important so we can know who is a kafir and who is not. Because according to what we know from the books of fiqh, we read this, that whoever rejects Quran or even an ayah from it or even an alphabet of it, this person is kafir. This is what we read in the books of fiqh. Also we read that whoever add a word to the Quran or even an ayah or even an alphabet, he is kafir. This is something that maybe it's a deterrent from people not to talk about things that they don't know. But also we shouldn't, we have to be specific when we talk about something. We have to be careful about the ahkam that we say. Now, let's say first, let's stop a little bit with this defining Quran so we know who is kafir and who is not. We know that whoever denies anything that comes from Allah, then he is kafir. Whoever rejects something that comes from Allah, he is definitely a kafir. Or whoever says about Allah what he has not said, he is also a kafir. But is it like the person definitely must know that he is rejecting what Allah has said. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنِ افْتَرَى عَلَى اللَّهِ كَذِبًا أَوْ كَذَّبَ بِالْحَقِّ لَمَّا جَاءَهُ وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنِ افْتَرَى عَلى اللَّهِ كَذِبًا أَوْ كَذَّبَ بِالْحَقِّ أَوْ كَذَّبَ بِآيَاتِهِ. Who is more unjust, more transgressing than the one who lies about Allah? Someone who says Allah said so and so, but Allah didn't say it. Or denying that something that Allah has said. This is general. Anyone who comes to the Quran, opens the Quran and read it, and know that Allah has said this, but he rejects it. When it has established to him, when he has understood, after he has understood that this is what Allah has said, then he still say, no, I don't accept it, or it's a lie. This person is kafir. If someone reads Quran and Allah says, وَالشَّمْسُ تَجْرِي لِمُسْتَقَرٍّ لَهَا, the sun run towards his destiny. Now, if he says no, the sun doesn't run, he says this is the book. He knows that this is the book that has been revealed to Muhammad. This is the Quran, and he says no, this ayah I don't accept it because it is the fact. It is known from science that the sun doesn't move. He has denied. He has attributed lie to Allah or to his prophet. He has rejected the Quran. This person is kafir. If a person adds something to the Quran, lie about Allah, bring any ayah, make up ayah from his head, this person is kafir for the same ayah that says lying about Allah. But let's say someone read an ayah and he's misunderstand it. Or you tell someone Quran, someone who is not familiar what is Quran, what is, let's say, a new Muslim or a Muslim who has not been practicing, and then you tell him something and he go and do his researches, trying to find out did Allah say it or not. He is trying. I accept the whole idea, the general idea that I take what Allah have said. But I am going to check if this word that you are saying, or this phrase that you are saying, or this ayah that you are saying, I am going to check if really Allah said it. If Allah said it, I will take it. If not, I don't trust you. I don't, for example, say, I don't trust the people who has in this mosque. I don't trust the people in this area. I don't know if they have done something, or this person should not be considered kafir. He is judging with what Allah has revealed. He is ignorant. And he is doing his search, he is looking to check whether this is Quran or not. Once he has established it's Quran, he will accept it. I mean, for anyone who says this general hukm like this, we have to establish this is Quran or not, so we can decide who is kafir, who is not. It looks like, oh, he will be kafir, like even if there is a genuine mistake. I mean, if someone decides that alcohol is halal, he has lied about Allah. he comes under this ayah. But when he has light about Allah, when he knows that Allah have said, only when he knows that the ayah that says إنما الخمر والميسر, that the khamr and maisir and the whole ayah that it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said فاجتنبوه, keep away from it. When he knows this, then definitely he will be considered a kafir. Before he understands that ayah, as long as he is looking for the hukum of Allah, he is not considered to be a kafir. And we have example here. We have example from the Sahaba, for example, who have denied sometimes some surahs that they are from Quran, or they have denied some ayat from Quran. But that was a genuine mistake. Aisha, this is in Sahih Bukhari, used to deny this ayah in Surah Yusuf. حتى إذا استيأس الرسل وظنوا أنهم قد كذبوا. When the Prophet have given up, let's say, don't translate the first part because translating that, but the word كذبوا and كذبوا are two different words. Now the narrations came with the two different words, كذبوا and كذبوا. كذبوا, it means they thought that they have been branded as liars. This is كذبوا. كذبوا, they thought that they have been told lie. Aisha used to deny this. To say, this is not from Quran. There is no way that the Prophet will think. The Prophets will think that they have been told lies. Of course, those who accept this ayah, they will have to make some different understanding for it. They will have to explain it in a different way that Aisha understood it. But still, Aisha denied one word from the Quran. Nobody can say anything about Aisha. She genuinely made a mistake. Or Ibn Mas'ud denying Surah Al-Falaq and Surah Al-Nas in the Quran. This hadith is in Bukhari as well. He was with the Prophet. He heard the Quran from the Prophet. He didn't hear the Prophet saying that Surah Al-Falaq and Surah Al-Nas is from the Quran. He denied it. He thought that people made a mistake. What do you say about Ibn Mas'ud? Nothing. He made a mistake. Nothing. He is not a fasiq. He is not a bad person, let alone to say that he is kafir. That nobody can say that. I mean, mistake. So a person, رَبَّنَا لَا تُؤَخِذْنَا إِن نَسِينَا وَأَخْطَأْنَا. Oh Allah, don't hold us accountable if we make a mistake, if we forget or make a mistake. Also, if someone says this is for the Sahaba, this is not for the Sahaba only, this is for everybody. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, now we have the issue of Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim an ayah from the Quran or not? Now, it's clearly that Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is an ayah from the Quran. An ayah from every surah except for Surah Bara'ah. The Sahaba didn't add this ayah to the Quran just like that. They didn't. They just wrote in the Quran what is from the Quran. And they were very careful about this. And everything shows that Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is an ayah from the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَاكَ السَّبْعَ الْمَثَانِ وَالْقُرْآنِ الْعَظِيمِ. We have given you the seven often repeated and the Quran. Now, there is a hadith in Bukhari from Abi Sa'id bin al-Mu'alla where he said, I was in the mosque, the Prophet called him and then he told him that he will teach him a surah, the best surah in the Quran, before he get out of the mosque. As the Prophet was getting out of the mosque, he reminded him, he said, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin, meaning Surah Al-Fatiha. He is Sab'a al-Mathani. It is the seven often repeated. So, if you take Surah Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin with different narrations that it has come with, if you take off Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, it will remain 6, not 7. which shows that Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is part of Surah Al-Fatiha. If we take the hadith of Anas in Sahih Muslim, where he said the Prophet was lying, having a nap in between them, then he woke up smiling, and then he said, earlier an ayah that has been revealed to me. And then he said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, inna a'tainaka al-Kawthar. So the ayah, because some people say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the difference opinion here said Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim came in the Quran as a barrier, just so the people will know that the surah has finished. And so there was no barrier here. He woke up from sleep, he was not reading anything. He said Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, inna a'tainaka al-Kawthar. So this is the whole surah, from Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim to the end. Every surah that came with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is an ayah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is an ayah at the beginning of it. Anyone who says that the Sahaba added it, he should explain why they didn't add Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim to Surah Bara'ah then.
Surah Tawbah.
Surah Tawbah, yeah.
But they say that Surah Tawbah is part of Surah
Al-Anfal. No, that is, they didn't say it is part of Surah Al-Anfal. That is something that Uthman bin Affan, he didn't say. He said that he doesn't know. And whoever doesn't know is not proof. He said, the Prophet died, he didn't tell us whether it was part of Surah Al-Anfal or not. So he didn't say that it is. So the person who doesn't know, you don't take hukm from him. So, and those people who say this argument that you hear sometimes that Surah Tawbah is, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim of Surah Tawbah is in Surah Al-Naml. That is stupid. Who put Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in the middle of Surah Al-Naml? Who put it? The Sahaba? No, Allah. That means who put let's say that Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim at the beginning of Surah Tawbah, it was taken and put in Surah Al-Naml. Who did put it in Surah Al-Naml? The Sahaba put it in Surah Al-Naml, like Surah Al-Naml said, إِنَّهُ أُلْقِيَ إِلَيَّ كِتَابٌ كَرِيمٌ إِنَّهُ مِنْ سُلَيْمَانَ أَلَّا تَعْلُوا عَلَيْهِ. So the Sahaba put وَأَنَّهُ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ in the middle. This is the way the surah was revealed. Since the surah was revealed, even if you say this is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Surah Tawbah was put in Surah Al-Naml, this is also against the people who say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is not, because who put it in Surah Al-Naml? Allah. So Allah put the Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in every beginning of a surah. It's not the Sahaba. But we see here, we go back to the fact that people say if someone denies a word from Bismillah ar-Rahman, from the Quran, or anyone add to the Quran, even a word or an alphabet, he is kafir. Now we have two different opinions, two different madhabs. We have the Shafi'is, Hanbalis, for example, who say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is part of the Quran. So those people say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is part of the Quran, the Hanbalis and the Shafi'is. Now if you say it isn't, then you are saying these people are kafir, if you apply the rule. It was a genuine mistake. And we have in the opposite side, the Ahnaf, who say it is part of the Quran, but it's not part of any surah. It is like surahs by itself. It's like Quran by itself. And we have the Malikis who say it's not from Quran.
Besides Surah Al-Fatiha.
Besides Surah Al-Fatiha. And some say this even in Surah Al-Fatiha. It's not like the Ahnaf. They don't consider Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim to be part of Al-Fatiha. You will find, if you go to, for example, to Pakistan, and there is this Quran that I have never seen or I have never heard any narration like it, they will say, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. This is the 6th ayah. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. This is the 7th. I have never heard of something like this, because all the narration that we have, the last surah is, the last ayah is صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. So this is the 7th ayah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is the first.
So what arguments do they use to say that it's not part of the Quran Is it from Quran itself or other?
Well, there are some hadith that might be misunderstood. The hadith of Anas ibn Malik, but it will take us to fiqh, which I'm trying to avoid so we can continue. The hadith of Anas ibn Malik, for example, that the Prophet used to start recitation with Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Even in some narration it says he doesn't read Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Even though the Prophet's, the Quran, the hadith of the Prophet said there is no prayer for someone who doesn't read Al-Fatiha. Or the hadith of Abu Huraira, which is in Muslim. This hadith is in Bukhari Muslim, the first hadith of Anas. The hadith of Abu Huraira, for example, that I have divided the prayer between me and my slave into two. If he says Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Allah will say, my slave has thanked me. And if he says, so the Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is not mentioned at the beginning. There is issues. The first hadith that the Prophet used to start, just generally, because we can go into details later. The first hadith is the Prophet used to start Salah with Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. This hadith, this part is Sahih. And Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, as I mentioned earlier in the hadith, where the Prophet said Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, is the 7 often repeated verses. That's mean Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen in Surah Al-Fatiha. But he used to start Salah with Al-Fatiha. As for the last part, he doesn't read Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This, even like people like Ibn Abdul Barr say this hadith is muttarib, not okay, because in the way it has been revealed. But that's not true. The hadith is not muttarib. However, this last part, it should be considered shadh. The number of the people who narrated it are not as many as the people who narrated the hadith just without it. And as for the other hadith of in Muslim, that part that the Prophet, it looks more likely to be the saying of Abu Huraira rather than the saying of the Prophet. There is issue with the hadith. However, we can go to the details this inshallah another time. So the fact that these people denied some ayah from the Quran is not an issue. I mean, of course you should never deny Quran when you know that it is Quran. But these people made a genuine mistake. I mean, they are trying to know whether it is or it is not. If you can prove to them that Allah said Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, it has not been added by the Sahaba. If you prove it to them, they will accept it. Definitely. I mean, no Muslim, he will not be definitely a Muslim if he rejects it. But what we are saying here, you don't make a rule and then not apply it. If there is a rule, it should be applied. First, you take a rule from the Quran and Sunnah, and then you have to apply it, regardless of who is saying it. Or you understand? You don't take a rule and then apply it on some people, but you don't apply it on others. Yeah. So let's go to the definition of Quran. Actually, now we said we have to know the Quran. What is definition of Quran, so we can know what we can recite in Quran in prayer, and then we can know the definition of Quran, so we can know where to take legislations from.